Hello, Falava, Ola, and G'day. Welcome to episode 7 of Boys on the Mic. Today we'll be talking about a few things from Palworld to reduce attention span due to technology. And lastly, we're going to look at some TikTok trends. I'm joined by my co-host, Nawaka.
Kausa.
All right, guys, let's get into it. Run it.
Welcome to the Boys on the Mic, the one-stop audio and video experience where the worlds of gaming and technology collide. I'm Nowakas, and I'm thrilled to be here with the dynamic duo, Kausa and Rex. How's it going, guys?
Hey Nowakas, hey listeners, Kausa here. We're pumped to bring you another episode filled with the latest and the greatest in gaming and tech. No matter what kind of gamer you are or how tech savvy you might be, we got something just for you.
That's right, Rexy here, and we're stoked to have you join us. Whether you're a long-time listener or just discovering the podcast, you're in for a treat. We dive deep into all things gaming and tech, bringing you the news, reviews, and experiences from around the digital world.
And don't forget, if you love the vibe, hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. It helps more gamers and tech enthusiasts like you find our show. Follow us on Tech Trio Tales to stay in the loop and become part of our growing community.
Got a topic you want us to cover? Or you just want to share your latest gaming victory? Reach out to us on our socials or in the comment section. We love hearing from our listeners.
All right, team, gear up because it's time to jump into another epic episode. Let's revive, respawn, power up, and go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? how's everyone today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Feeling good?
Caffeinated. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's pretty early in the morning, so coffee kicks in, and yeah, like it's feeling great.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'll kick it off and start off with the first topic today. So the first topic that we have is Palworld. Now, Palworld is a survival game that presents in a realistic and with a dark twist on the Pokemon concept. Now, it's a bit interesting because they have elements like guns, violence, and forced labor. Some of these elements that they've put into the game have sort of like a darker side to it, but they also have house building or base building, as well as, resource gathering. And you get your pals, you capture your pals, and then you can use them either to fight or you can use them to create things for your base. But there's a big emphasis on it to not overwork your pals and treat them right so they don't die from creating.
They don't die.
Pokemon game mixed with Fortnite, and then also a survival game.
Yeah. It has the survival sort of attributes to it.
They're using the old formula of Pokemon that works so well with us and just applying the new society problems into it.
Yeah.
Some of the unique gameplay elements are missile launchers, different types of capture balls, not Pokemon balls, and the ability to upgrade bases and tools. So everything you'd expect from a survival base building game mixed in with like a combat game as well. The multiplayer aspect as well, there's up to 4 players co-op. They don't have dedicated servers yet. So once they do bring that out, there'll be 32 players that'll be able to play at one time. And
I always wanted to play Pokemon multiplayer. Like for some reason, it never came out. As in, like I remember in my Game Boy, you have to connect a physical cable to actually play with your mate.
But you couldn't. I can't remember if you could actually see the other.
You didn't see them. Like it was just a battle. You're right.
Yeah.
The main game loop of it all is like capturing these pals to defeat bosses and things throughout the world. All of their combat and their effectiveness for gathering materials and stuff is based on their levels and the players' levels. Apart from that, that's basically an overall overview of the game. So yeah, what do you guys think about the Palworld?
Well, so far from what I've seen on the media, seems kind of a cool idea. It seems a kind of game that will go viral for the same reasons that have just a dilemma itself of just exploitation. You can capture a human. Am I wrong? Like, is that a thing?
So anything you in that world that you can throw your capture ball at and capture it, you can actually capture it, and anything you capture becomes your pal. Apparently.
Right. And then you also mentioned that if you overwork, you die.
So that's a sort of like survivability attributes that I was talking about before, where it might be like energy, could be eating, rest. So those things sort of come into account for not only yourself but maybe your pals as well.
Is that actually they showing us our society problems, or they think
I
was
think,
that
yeah,
intentional?
I think it just adds a realistic twist to it, which, you know, people enjoy those sort of things in survival games, and it really hooks you because you're having to multitask, you know, making sure that they're working crazy, making sure that they're well rested, you know, to be efficient, like in any sort of job or in the world where you know you can't work if you're not your best.
And I think it also takes out maybe some of the boring stuff in a lot of games, you know, grinding. You can actually essentially rescue your pals from slave labor. And then
I saw a video of a guy on YouTube where he was essentially saying that you could actually set up factories that can mass produce certain materials or weapons or stuff like that to sort of stop you from, you know, the long grind in those sort of survival games where you can have your pals, or I don't know if you'd call them your slaves, to get all that stuff done. So you can enjoy the better things in life, essentially, where you can just enjoy the game, you know, the different biomes where you can find your different pals and just come back home and the other guys are working hard. Like this.
It sounds more real than actual game. Like it's more like nowadays we talk about ChatGPT and all these and how AI is gonna take over. So we are actually doing the same in real life. We are asking AI to do the mundane work so we can focus on the important stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just looking for videos of people exposing sort of the darker side of it and what you can do, and just be like, okay, guys, you can do this now in Palworld. Like, I think there's like so many possibilities in that game, and like it's a growing game as well. So I believe it's still beta, right?
yeah, so early access started on January 19th. And I believe it's going to be something like Fortnite, where it kind of stays in early access for a little bit. But that allows them to patch the game quickly and bring out new updates. It's actually a strategy that a lot of games are using now. They're in early access.
Before going gold, they actually just use this term of like, it's not actually live, so just give us your feedback.
And I think that's a good way of testing bugs in that. Like, you know, of course all these games are gonna have bugs, but the concept of this game is crazy, you know, like I think it's like Pokemon on steroids, if you ask me.
It was the main thing that hooked me, is that I saw a guy riding on a dragon with a rocket launcher shooting other, and then halfway through he used the Pokemon that he was flying on to shoot fireballs at the other Pokemon. Like, man, like this is just like when you have extreme, this one just took it to the next level, and it hooked me instantly.
Yeah, I never another video of him shooting a pal, which is a sheep, as a rocket launcher, and it explodes like a tower, and you're just like, what? That's crazy.
It sounds like Final Fantasy. Like, I never played. I know there's massive community, but it's the kind of game that mixes everything, like RPG. There's no limit on the creativeness. Yeah.
And I think they did well sort of giving that Pokemon sort of artwork, because I wouldn't say, like, I enjoy realistic games, but those games, like, you generally enjoy them more because of that sort of style of artwork, and it makes it more like the environment more interactive and sort of, what would you say?
Yeah, those stylized games like World of Warcraft and Borderlands, when you have that type of art style where it's not focused on graphics quality, but more a stylized approach. It makes it more timeless. Like, you can go back now and play Borderlands, and that game is, you know, Borderlands 3 is, you know, maybe, I can't remember the exact age, but maybe like 10 years old. And it still looks good today on current systems because of the art style that they chose. Whereas opposed to, like, if you played a game that was like cutting edge graphics.
Last of Us on like so many remakes. And the fact that from 2 years to 2 years, the technology advances as this so fast that they cannot keep up with the latest technology, and they need to do another remaster.
Yeah. One of the other parts about Palworlds as well is it borrows from Pokemon, where you can fuse two different pals together to create another pal. They do egg hatching as well, and also part of the fusion, the reason why I brought it up is that you can actually combine different elements together. Like, let's say you had an electric type PAL and a fire type PAL. If you fuse those two PALs together, then it'll create some sort of fire electricity element.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you remember Dido from Pokemon? That it could mimic other Pokemon? It would be cool if they can.
I think like Palworld has an interesting take on how what Rexy was talking about with the art style, but also the dark themes. It's kind of a juxtaposition where you put really innocent Pokemon and themes like that, or pals in this case, and you pair them with really realistic dark themes. It comes to this like really weird middle ground where you're like, you've got these happy little pals that are forced either to work for you or thrown into combat, and you've got guns and you're killing things. It's just it's kind of like how you can approach a really serious topic with a fun twist to it.
Even like little guys, like I have a little brother, and he will play this without actually realizing all these dark topics. Like it's just for him, it's a game.
Yeah,
you learn a thing, how it works, and at some point, this have an impact, right?
Yeah, essentially, that's interesting that you mentioned that. Now that I think about it, like they're targeting all age groups, so it's kind of interesting as well. So I think big things for this game, and hopefully we get to play it and give our own reviews as well together.
That is one other thing to mention about this. So it's Game Pass exclusive. So this game is coming to PC and Xbox on the Game Pass. They did say that it could have an opportunity to come to PlayStation in the future, but they haven't set a release date for it either. So in some future scenario, we might be able to play it on PlayStation, because I don't know if you know, but we all have PlayStations, and Nick is a diehard Sony PlayStation fan.
Yeah. Ever since PS1.
Ever since you came out the womb, you've been a PlayStation man.
I never had an Xbox. I did have Nintendo, doesn't count because it's kind of middle ground.
Like, everybody has a Switch or something, or a Wii.
I think I grew up with Nintendo too at some point. Game Boy. This is now that you mentioned Palworld, it brings all the throwbacks of Pokemon Emerald. That's the one that I used to play quite a lot. I'm keen to try it. Like, I probably won't be my main game. I don't know, but like it's cool concept, and it's just all about gameplay, man.
Yeah, so I guess that sort of wraps up Palworld and what we think about it, and hopefully we see some big things from them.
So jumping into the next topic that we got for today, this one is an interesting one because I would say most people are affected by this, and the younger generation probably more so, but that doesn't exclude any of the older generations. And this topic is basically our focus and how it's been affected by technology. I have recently read a book about this specific topic. It's called Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. This book, can't recommend it enough if you want like some insight on this topic. But basically, Johan Hari is a British journalist. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's a best-selling author, and the title of the book is Stolen Focus and Why You Can't Pay Attention. The book addresses the modern challenge of maintaining focus, highlighting that American college students average only 65 seconds of focus per task, with a median of 19 seconds. Now, you think about that, that's such a small attention span.
God damn it.
Hari emphasizes the issue of diminished attention spans is prevalent, not just amongst students, but also amongst office workers in the US, who on average focus on a task for just 3 minutes. They do say that it takes 5 minutes to, if you're in like a flow state and you get disrupted, it actually takes 5 minutes to actually return back to where you were. So if every time you're disrupted in your workflow, it takes you 5 minutes to be able to come back.
From that 60 seconds on.
Yeah, however long it was disrupted. If somebody just like says, hey, can I borrow you for a couple of seconds? It's going to take you like 5 minutes to be able to come back to where you were and gather like what you.
A long time. If you consider that will take you back. Imagine like if you have many disruptions along the minute. So technically it will take you some time to get back to on the same workflow. Like it might not sound like a lot, but it is big. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think like if you were to think about that, that's pretty crazy, man. So each time you're disrupted from working or talking or doing something, 5 minutes is like it's pretty long, man. Just to come back and get back into what you're doing. So hopefully, you don't get distracted as much when you're working.
Distractions. I just had a few people join the podcast. Yeah, we couldn't
You
time that
called
better.
that a cameo?
There were some distractions coming out the back.
Lee doing the cameos. It's now a thing.
Just going back to the book, this book explores the cost of constant interruptions and distractions, including the loss of mental bandwidth, increased errors, and negative impacts on memory and focus. Another thing as well that the book highlights is the French government actually introduced a right to disconnect law, which mandates clearly defined work hours and the right for workers to avoid related phone or email engagement post work hours.
Yeah. I did saw that on the news a few months ago, and it has a lot of controversy. Like many people will say, like it's just causing more issues between employees and employers because technically, once you finish, you clock off and then you forget about your job. To be honest, like from my personal experience, I always feel like I want to give my 100%, or if not more, when I'm working on my hour times. But after that,
Yeah.
I want to also give my brain some rest. And rest doesn't mean like I have to go to bed and sleep. It means more like, oh, I can focus on other things. Now you have family, you have like friends. So you want to dedicate some time to yourself too, right?
Yeah. Self-love.
Yeah. Self-love.
Hey,
I come from a hospitality side. So essentially when you can't really be on your phone because it's a more of a hands-on job. So essentially, as soon as you work into the workplace, you sort of put your phone to the side and you can probably check it every 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. What I do is I just have it on my smartwatch so I can just see if it's something important, then I'll check it. I guess it depends on, what you're doing or where you're working. But definitely, like you'll be working and if you look and then you'll think and like Tor said, it will take you 5 minutes to come back after reading a text or something.
I sort of teased at this concept called the flow state. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it. Maybe consciously you haven't recognized that you've been in a state of flow. But the state of flow means, when you're doing something and you feel like it's only been 20 minutes, but perhaps hours has passed. You're working on a task and you're just, you're not worried about time. That's what you actually call a state of flow. For people to get into a state of flow, it actually requires zero distractions. But when you're in a state of flow, your productivity is on an all high. So this is the issue with always being distracted or interrupted, is that it makes it harder for people to get in a state of flow.
I tested myself. Again, I can say it works. When I started my master's, before that, I was living with a roommate, and I'll feel like it's all good or whatever. But then you come back home and you always have a distraction. It sounds bad, but you have someone there. So you can talk, you interact. We're humans. And then when I decided to do my master's, I said, I don't want that distraction because I'm working and also I'm studying. So I want to give that time to both of them. And I realized that by living by myself, I'll come back home, and if I just want to focus on one thing, I'll do it right, and it will take me less time because I'll get less distracted.
Yeah, and then you can sort of time yourself and see how you can be more efficient in that task as well, and you can only better yourself from there. That's very interesting, bro.
Yeah, I always find as well when I'm at work and during our work hours, it's like from 8:30 till 5. There's gaps during the day, so people normally take their lunches between 12 and 2. So that's a good opportunity there to get in a state of flow. And then also, when we're getting really busy, I would stay maybe like an hour or so after work outside of the office hours. And in that 1 hour, I can get so much work done because I'm not getting interrupted by my colleagues. I'm not getting interrupted by phone calls. Emails stop coming in as well around that time, roughly. One thing that the Stolen Focus book also highlights is it examines the design and business models of social media platforms, arguing that they are intentionally structured to invade and hold users' attention for profit. So this leads into TikTok and YouTube Shorts, where they have this content and also apps designed around holding your focus. Even the colors and the themes that they use, the sounds, everything, it's all intentional. Like they have designers on apps that are, it's their sole job to keep your attention for as long as possible.
Yeah, they use the psychology. The psychology behind all these is insane. Like they actually using, I'm pretty sure, like some scientists to know what is best.
Test subjects, like where they're testing it on a certain amount of people and then seeing which one, sort of works, and then taking that and just using all the ones that are working and combining it and then creating something which is, I don't know, crazy.
Yeah, we've seen this through the years. Like one formula works. Let's say we started with Snapchat and it worked, and then someone else comes along and say, this works. Why am I not doing this? And then put out their whatever called reels, or they have different names, of course, but they all work on the same format.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And just to wrap it up, and finally, one of the conclusions that the book drew is that because of all these interruptions in childhood, children are playing less, and they're having less freedom to play, which is like how we essentially learn, and they're losing a bit of a connection, increasing the difficulty in maintaining focus, and also concurrently, we've also seen a rise in ADHD diagnoses as well.
Or like kids tend to not go outside as much anymore because they can sort of being mentally stimulated from all the stuff that's, what they're watching, or if there's any technology that they can use. So, all the mechanics that you learn from doing motor skills or playing sports outside can go out the window once they can sort of have this world where they're safe and they stay indoors.
Yeah. And definitely what you said, it's more like the health concerns in the future. This works around, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, it's serotonin. It's a thing in your brain that kicks in when you're happy. And normally these engaging tools are basically maintaining yourself on this state. So at some point, it's creating that something that shouldn't be there. And that's why it leads to depression. Think about alcohol. When you drink alcohol the next day, you don't feel that great, right? Because you go all the way up, and then at some point you're going to go down. And the more you use this, at some point, you feel like this will go down as like eventually, right?
That was a distraction of a young man.
He loves the camera, man. He loves the camera.
All right. So now we'll move on to the next topic, which is TikTok trends.
It's sort of somehow related, right? Like,
sort of connected in a way that you can use it and it can be exploited to this sort of the topic that we just talked about before.
I think from what we were talking before, like we said, like TikTok, they aim for TikTok is being like short videos, short formats, like something that kicks in really well and can get your attention in a few seconds. But now I think they are aiming for something different. Is that right?
Yeah. So TikTok releases a document every year, and it sort of focuses on what's coming up in the next year. It's quite a detailed document. We got our hands on it exclusively from TikTok, and it's about 40 pages long with, all the different aspects. The TLDR of it is that there are certain areas in 2024 that we need to focus on. One of the titles is Curiosity Peaked, and that section focused on the importance of creating content that sparks and satisfies users' curiosity, suggesting an active, discovery-orientated approach to content creation. Storytelling was another topic, which is, pretty synonymous with creating videos and things like that, but it underscores the shift in storytelling in TikTok, an emphasis on diverse voices, collaborative formats, and innovative story arcs that defy traditional structures. And then the last one was building the trust gap. So this part discusses building the trust between brands and consumers on TikTok through transparency, authenticity,
Mhm.
and engaging content that resonates with users. There's a lot of buzzwords in this, and I think you got to take it with a grain of salt and just remember that, this is a document from TikTok, which is their main user base is probably, 13 to 24.
They know who the target is. So
Yeah.
I think I tried to read it in between lines, and I was like, "Ooh, I need to decipher this. Like, this is a riddle."
You need to create a Gen Z chat GPT bot.
I
Yeah.
feel like you just have to just listen to the word and just be like, okay, I'll go with it. And then you're like, because if
I
you
don't
think too
need to
much, like, what is this? Like, you're like, what?
What is the Riz?
Oh, kids always be saying, you capping, bro. What? Capping.
Yeah, I remember once. This is a funny one. I remember normally when you go around, like someone says, "How you doing?" Like, "How's it going?" Whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's this guy, little guy, came to me and it's, "What's popping?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like what's popping? Like you tell me." Come on, mate. Like,
I guess there's like two things there where you're like, coming to, was that in Australia or was that in America?
yeah, he was in Australia.
Yeah. Where there's such different language as well, and obviously your first language being Spanish, like all the slang is so different in Australia to America.
Like, it's the way you interact with words. Like, it's more like how do you use them. They also have a meaning. So at some point, like that expression, it probably mean nothing, but then the way you say it, it's almost like you can just tell, right? But I couldn't.
Like at first you'd be like, what? What does this mean? But then later on you're like, oh, okay, so you connect this to that, and
I
then
won't forget.
okay.
That's the thing.
And like, even like certain words that I thought were from the Gen Z, they're actually from the Zillennials, which is like the guys that come after millennials. There's Zillennials and then there's Gen Zers. Yeah. The bridge between millennials and Gen Z. And I was saying yeet. Apparently yeet is not current anymore. That's like an old person's word. But
I don't think I've heard that in a while.
Yeah. I thought it was current. I guess not. And actually, just while we're on this little tangent, I actually created a bot in ChatGPT that would I taught it all of the Gen Z lingo, and then I got a ChatGPT to create a song, and then I got that song, and then I made it Gen Z compatible, change all the lyrics. Yeah, and then I used AI to generate a song, which maybe we can talk about that on another podcast.
I want to see it. Like when you get it, like probably just share it so we can see how good it is. And then also, if we have Gen Z watching us, like they can actually tell us, like, is that something that you see yourself watching?
Is this accurate, or was the AI a little bit off?
And I took it one step further, and then I got AI to create a video on it with B-roll, and the result was like hilarious. Like some of the ideas that it came up with, like I didn't change anything. I just left it.
Just let it develop.
Raw footage.
Yeah.
You can call that.
Could I ask what you did that for?
I just did it for fun.
Oh, okay.
Research.
For research purposes. I think I showed it to a couple of people at work, and they're like, "So you have enough time to do this?"
Oh, it was all the AI. It was not me.
Yeah. The AI did the legwork. So reeling us back into the topic, back to TikTok. So the 2024 document that they released is basically a playbook, a play-for-play playbook on how to grow in 2024. And a lot of it is just basically changing how we tell stories and building trust and just piquing curiosity, which are, the main foundations anyways to creating TikToks. Like you need a good hook, you need a good way to keep people on your video, which you can use storytelling. And the more creative you get with storytelling and the more unique you are with the way you tell your stories is how you're going to like keep people.
Build your own brand at some point, right?
I was just thinking, like, how you said that they might be increasing sort of the time length on TikTok now. Would that change the attention span of people? Like, would they be committed to watching more videos? Like, would it sort of change the new generation because of that? What do you guys think?
Just this is it from our personal experience. Like I deleted TikTok a long time ago, and I recently installed it just for the sake of, because I wanted to grow. Technically, yeah, they got me again. They hooked me, and it was just for the sake because the way to grow and to reach a bigger audience, it's a perfect tool. So yeah, it's a good platform, but I try not to use it to scroll. Like, to be honest, on my daily basis, I try to post, but I don't scroll. But
Yeah.
Oh
on
gosh.
most of the time that I spend to watch videos is on YouTube, and I'll spend probably sometimes 30 minutes on watching a full length video. But I
Okay.
guess that's for me. But on, like you said, like on the youth, will that change the way also they watch videos? Will they now start engaging more like content like YouTube? That's
Like
Yeah.
a bit longer.
yeah.
My thoughts on it are not ChatGPT. TikTok actually kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit when they created this app because it's solely focused around short form content.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this year, we know that they are bringing in 30-minute long videos. They're even prompting people in the actual app. This is my own personal experience when I've used the app. They have little prompts that says videos over 1 minute are generally more engaging and people.
Mm.
The other thing that they are doing at the moment is they are pushing content out that is set in 16:9 format. So basically, rather than having it horizontal in the
Portrait?
camera, yeah, they'll have it portrait. And basically, the reason why they're pushing all of that content is because they want people to hit the full screen mode and tilt their phone sideways and watch it like a YouTube video. So this year, TikTok wants to increase its market share in long content because they believe that that's where they need to be. And they're going to be pushing it more long form content. So 30-minute videos, I mean, who knows? You might even see the boys on the mic up with 30-minute videos.
I haven't think about that. Like, technically, it brings up, opens up the scope for creators, content creators. Like they say, not TikTok. It's not for me. Oh, they just do what we're doing, like just clips of your main content, and no, and then probably they'll like trying to bring this back. These guys, like, hey guys, like we now have the tools. Like we have, like you can put a
Yeah.
whole video here. Yeah.
So you can have the hooks and the long videos. Sort of, it's like YouTube, but
yeah, YouTube
on
is
another-
right. Started with long videos, and now it's bringing shorts. And but from my personal experience, I think shorts have a different audience than TikTok.
Yeah, there is a financial motive behind this. I mean, like as anything, TikTok's a company first and foremost, and they have to make money. And part of the issue that they have with short form content, which we kind of understand, is that people spend 1 to 2 seconds scrolling on TikTok, which is part of the short attention span thing. But the other issue is that any advertisements and things that TikTok runs through its app gets skipped because you can skip advertisements. So that's why they're running or moving, positioning themselves to short form and long form, because in long form content, people generally watch advertisements for longer.
Yeah. And you're forced to watch the ads when you watch YouTube videos, but you have to watch it because you want to watch that video, or you sort of like you might not subconsciously watch it, but you just you hear it, and like that's the sort of the percentage that they're looking at. Like you're like, oh, I gotta wait till this ad finishes, but you're still the ad is running.
Yeah. And there's something that the YouTube actually brought in. I think it was this week. I'm not sure if they've patched it out, but this actually, I'm not even sure how legal this is, but I experienced it myself, where if you were using Chrome and you were running ad blocker, basically YouTube would detect that and then like increase your CPU usage and like slow down the YouTube tab, basically to where it's unwatchable. Yeah,
So
I know. Basically you have to get rid of ad blocker on, which I'm pretty sure most people have ad blocker installed on Chrome these days.
I don't.
You don't want it because now they're cracking down on all those free people that were watching videos without ads.
Yeah, they. I think I've been playing good guy for quite a bit. I was even thinking to pay them membership. Man, I should have used that.
I am a bad guy when it comes to ads, man. I got ad blocker on. I'm blocking everything, man.
It's like
stop right there. But it's interesting to see that that YouTube can actually even detect that you have the ad on there. It slowed down my computer considerably when I was watching YouTube videos.
People to use it.
Yeah, but it only happens in Chrome because I did the same thing in Edge, and maybe I didn't have ad blocker installed on Edge, but yeah, the YouTube videos played. And then a coworker at work told me about it, and I was like, wow, that sounds kind of, I don't know, it's like it's kind
Is it
of
ethical?
yeah, ethical. I didn't agree to them, seeing what add-ons that I'm using and things like that, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure exactly how that works. But
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those things that they're having to do because of that, and
Yeah,
they're coming
it's-
to their platform and using their resources. So
I don't think that they should be able to see what add-ons I'm using. Like that's kind of like affecting my
against your
privacy.
privacy.
what if they ban your ass from using YouTube because
Just
of
recent,
that? Like a cheater? Yo, this guy's
like,
cheating.
just recently, Chrome mentioned that if you are incognito, like they're still tracking you. So, like you don't know what's happening. Like it will tell you something that
The girls out there in incognito, man, they still tracking you, bro. Stay safe.
Yeah, still, yeah.
Watch what you're searching out there.
We're not going dark,
Yeah.
boys. We're still in the light.
yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Anyways, I think that sort of sums up what we wanted to share today. And
Thanks again, guys, for tuning in. This is Casa.
This is No Walkers. We're signing off.
hey, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Boys on the Mic. Today, we talked about a few things from Palworld to reduce attention span due to technology. Our last one was TikTok trends. Please follow us on all of our social platforms, which are in the bio. And I just want to say a big shout out and thanks to everyone tuning in. Peace.